Hey everybody, welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth, Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. All right, so we're going to look at the technical action in the markets today. It was just like we talked about in the game plan where we opened lower. There was a little chop in the first 30 minutes, in fact, a little bit of a dip, and then the big money just kind of stepped aside and let the retail investors take over, and they floated this market neutral to positive on the day. That's the type of action, honestly, we should probably be expecting for the remainder of this week, early next week, and maybe even after the January 1st New Year's Day, because there's that Thursday and Friday before, in my opinion, the big money comes back to the market in full. All right, so let's take a look at what the markets did today, and we can see exactly what we just described. We have the Dow up about 109 points today, NASDAQ eking out a $25 gain or 25-point gain. The S&P is just up $3.70. Oil today, which was up earlier, it pulled back just fractionally here, but nonetheless, that small bullish pattern is still in the chart. Gold gained about $18 on the day, so again, good for the gold miners. We've seen some of those gold miners get decimated over the last month or so, ever since gold pulled back from about 2,800 back to about 2,600. Bitcoin today, it kind of kept its losses here, less volatile than usual in that a lot of times intraday you'll see a pop back to 98, 99, then a pullback. Here we just kind of stayed around that 95, 96,000 level on Bitcoin for a majority of the day. And again, remember, we have our key levels. You're looking at Bitcoin, 100,000 is your resistance level right now. If that breaks, then you can retest 108 to 110. If you break below 91 to 92, then you're headed probably down towards 75. I know that seems like a big drop, but that's the next major, I repeat, major level of support. In terms of the price action, look at this, guys. Look at how much gray is on the screen here. Usually when I do this, the heat map is showing us like some red, some green, which again, green is when it's up decently on the day, red is when it's down decently. Anytime you see gray, it means it's basically less than a % move on these stocks. And so this is just telling us that it's generally holiday mode. In fact, a majority of the gains today, the big moves, were in these Wall Street bets type plays. Rigetti, Soundhound, these type of names, these are the ones that were making big moves. They had huge volume, but again, they're kind of on those borderline like pump and dumps type things. I know people will disagree with me, but in general, just remember GameStop. It had those big runs in 2021, and then it had the big pullback. So as long as the music is playing, those stocks can continue to go higher, but just be aware that at a certain point when the music stops, they will have big pullbacks. We'll take a look at a couple of those just to kind of take a gander. Now, looking at here, if we look at this chart, this is the S&P. Notice again, today we are ending the day basically up 27 cents, which is essentially flat on the S&P. But notice this trend line. This is one that I'm watching now. Do we float above this? If you float above it, we could test the highs here, maybe even go a little higher. But this right now, right here, is our resistance line. If we flip over to the S&P, you can see it's right around this 6,050 level, right here. And again, those same lines just shown on the S&P 500 chart versus the Spiders chart, which again is the tracking ETF. There's that upper trend line, that lower trend line, and where we are currently hugging right into that level here. So that's a level that I'll be watching tomorrow. Does the market on light volume, on retail participation, lack of an institutional participation, does it push through this level and maybe test the all-time highs one more time at 6,100? Or does this really put in the top here? And again, it'll be interesting to see. I would tend to favor a little upside bias because of the light volume. Here's your chart on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, again, eking out about a 26-point gain currently as the markets are just about to close. Notice, again, we're pushing back up, trying to double top. But just remember, this is that bigger parallel that is epic. It marked the bull market high of 2021 and the bear market lows of both COVID as well as 2022. And so I would continue to assume, based on logic, that this could mark a major top in the markets. All right, Tesla this morning was trading up. We talked about maybe those institutions coming out from the woodwork and maybe selling into that. That's exactly what happened. Tesla ending down about $7.75 today. Still stuck in this channel, though. So as long as it's in the channel, there's two possibilities, right? It could go up to the high end of the channel and push above 500, or if it breaks here, that's your next big leg to the downside. Quickly taking a look at a couple other stocks. I've been talking about the January effect play, guys. And the January effect play, remember, is where stocks are seeing tax loss selling that have been beaten down. So a stock, let's say, that is down 30, 40, 50% for the year, people have a lot of gains from other stocks that have run this year. The S&P, again, up 24% for the year, give or take. So people have a lot of gains that they have to pay taxes on. They're looking for ways to reduce that by taking a tax loss on something that didn't perform. And that brings us to a company that I highlighted just the other day in the game plan, which is this one here, WBA, Walgreens Boots Alliance. Notice today you're already starting to see some popping coming into these names. Another one I highlighted the other day was this one, Biogen, a nice quality company, biotech, profitable, low PE multiple, and this one again is showing some signs of life as well. So you're starting to see the end of tax loss selling, a little bit of an uptick. I'll tomorrow go over another company or two that could be good for a January effect pop. Next up, let's take a look at Rigetti. Rigetti, look at this, closing at 1543, up 36% today. Incredible late day run as well. But look at this chart. This stock was $1 basically at the beginning or mid-November. So that's a 1,500% move to the upside here. Incredible in terms of this run. Now, should this company be trading here? The answer is, of course, not. But the reality of it is that when momentum kicks in and Wall Street Bets and these other forums get a hold of these things, they just keep pumping them and pumping them and pumping them, and they push them up. And you just don't know where they're going to top. Now, the one thing I can guarantee is that at some point when it does top, you'll see a 50, 60% corrective move. That musical chair stop. Whoever's left stops. Whoever's left without a chair will see their profits diminish quickly and maybe even turn into losses. But doesn't mean it can't go higher tomorrow or even next week on the retail enthusiasm for these quantum computing stocks. SoundHound's another one. Nice move today. Look at the run this thing has had, and another great day, up 20% on the day. In terms of a technical level, again, there's not much here because you're at all-time highs. Your previous all-time high was in May of 2022 at $18. We are far beyond that at this point. And then lastly, Rumble. Rumble got a $775 million investment from Tether, and that really catapulted the stock to a 90% gain recently, and then further gains today, another 28% today. Same thing. Should a stock that gets an investment of $775 million really be going up 150% or so? Probably not. But when it's caught in this kind of lack of institutional money doing anything, that's on vacation, and retail investors are involved, there tends to be these more out crazy type moves to the upside. All right, so just again, the music will stop, these things will come in, but you don't know if they're going to go another 20, 30, 40, 50% higher first. But just be careful. And I basically use this because, I've been up here, I've talked about these type of moves, whether it was GameStop in 2021 or these other ones. A lot of people buy at the highs, and the momentum, the incredible moves gets people to just say, hey, it looks like it's going to go up 100% every day. The problem is when everyone jumps in at the late stage session, that's where these things come down hard. All right. Quickly going into Bitcoin on the day today. Bitcoin again pulling back here. You can see again nice little dip here on the Bitcoin chart, coming back in after testing 100,000, coming back in there. Again, watch 100K on the upside. If we break above that, it could go all the way back up to here. If it comes back in, this is your key support. If it breaks that, there's a little bit of an air pocket below. Okay, let's take a look at silver here. Silver, and then we'll quickly look at gold. Silver again, flat to positive on the day. There's your bearish consolidation, your breakdown, and slowly it should retrace to the scene of the crime before seeing its next leg to the downside. And then gold, gold actually looks a little bit better. Gold, again, recapturing this trend line, looking like it might want to rally up. The big level to watch on gold to the upside is going to be this $2,720 level. If we can get up to there, that'll be resistance. If it breaks, it can go back to new all-time highs. If not, it's going to be stuck between this upsloping line here. We can stretch that out there. And this one. It's kind of forming a wedge pattern where the price can kind of consolidate, and then we'll eventually have to make a decision, either a breakup or a breakdown. Oil today, quickly checking in on oil. A little bit of a down move here, just a little bit of a pullback. Still, as long as it stays above this line, it's bullish in the near term. And again, watch for that to potentially make a move to the upside. And natural gas had a pretty nasty fall today. But as I explained this morning in the game plan, there just is no trading levels at this time. We have this trend line up here. It's a beauty right there. And again, right now, it's just chopping inside of these two levels with big moves to the upside and big moves to the downside. All right, so So the game plan for tomorrow, setting the stage for the game plan tomorrow. Continue to watch Rigetti, Soundhound, Rumble, these kind of crazier movers. Do they continue? We did trade these in the live day trading room today. We went 4 for 4 on these names specifically, Rumble, Soundhound, and Rigetti. So again, as a day trader, there are opportunities in here when you know how to find the pattern formations. You guys can check out the Apex live day trading room on our website and decide if it's for you. But the key being is watching these. Let's see how the momentum plays out. I think one of the reasons I want to watch them as a bigger investor of more large cap stocks is because it shows us momentum. It shows us how bullish things are amongst the retail crowd. And then also we want to keep a very close eye once those institutions come back. How do things change? Do the markets all of a sudden start taking a dive again? Do the institutions just come in and just dump into everyone? Or do the institutions step back and let the markets float up a little bit more into the beginning of the new year? The other things to keep an eye on, January effect plays. Make your list, check it twice, making sure that you're ready to make money, naughty or nice, whatever you want to say here. But the point being is that, again, January effect plays. When the stock market has a big rally year and there's stocks that have lagged, those will see those tax loss sellings. You know, sometimes when the S&P, by the way, just a side note, if the S&P was flat this year and not a lot of money was made, then you wouldn't get the same January effect because you're not going to see that people have to take those losses end of year and kind of compress those stocks down that can then be rebound plays. But with the S&P up big, you should see these plays do very, very well. And like I said, in the game plan tomorrow, I'll have at least one, maybe two January effect plays, but I continue to like Walgreens as well as Biogen and a few others out there. I'll reveal more tomorrow. All right, folks, that's all from me here, but please stay tuned. We have something I want to show you. It'll be coming up right now. You guys have a good one. Take care.
Alright guys, I'm back with Legacy Academy. So just opening up the app. I haven't been on in a couple of days, but I see I got this reward and it looks like I get a reward for every single day that I log in. So let's see. So it looks like I'm about 50% of the way through level 1. And I guess this is just kind of how this system works, right? I take a course, I take a mini game, I take a course and a mini game, and at the very end of the module, I get to take a quiz to see how I've progressed. I just want to check out the leaderboard. Wow, so the top number 1 all time, you get 300 legacy tokens, so that's pretty cool. I'm not saying I'm gonna get that far, but my goal is to become in the top 1,000 by the end of this. I mean, we'll see if it happens.